Every child daycare center must always have someone qualified and in charge at all times. All of the components of supervising a daycare center administratively and programmatically, including developing, directing and supervising the daily activity program for the children, must be the responsibility of a person who is qualified by training and experience as required by the regulations. It may be that the responsibilities are shared by one or more staff, but all staff in positions of responsibility must meet the education and experience required. To make sure all of the children attending the center receive the best care physically, cognitively, and emotionally, there are specific numbers of children allowed in a particular age group and a specific number of staff required to care for those children. The younger children are cared for in smaller groups with a greater number of staff. The older children, for example, the school-age children, are allowed to be in larger groups with staffing requirements that are appropriate to the needs and interests of these children.
Very nice.
The child-staff ratios are specific regarding group size, ages of children, and number of staff required per group of children. If you consult the regulations, you'll see the variation of ages of children, the required staff ratios, and the maximum group size. To be certain that you are in compliance with the regulations, please refer to the regulations section on staff qualifications. What does supervision mean? Competent supervision includes awareness of and responsibility for the ongoing activity of each child. It requires that children be within staff's range of vision and that a staff person be close enough to intervene when redirection strategies are needed. Competent supervision must also take into account the child's age, emotional, physical, and cognitive development. The center must always be staffed to ensure that children are safe and involved in appropriate program activities. Working in a daycare center is a very demanding position and requires constant vigilance. Parents leave their children in care daily, expecting that you and your staff will protect and nurture them. There are no shortcuts to good staffing. To be certain that you are in compliance, please refer to the child daycare regulations.
I'm making flowers. That sound good? Flowers? Okay.
Behavior management is critical and deserves careful thought. Be sure that your expectations of behavior are reasonable for each age group and each specific child, and that appropriate guidance strategies are in place based on each child's developmental stage and abilities. A behavior management plan or policy is necessary for consistency and fairness. It will help you and your staff provide a steady approach to supervision. You must establish written behavior management guidelines and provide copies to all parents and staff. These guidelines must include acceptable methods of guiding the behavior of children consistent with their age and ability. They should also include information on how to work with children who have challenging behaviors. Behavior management must be administered in such a way to help each child develop self-control and assume responsibility for his or her actions through clear and consistent rules and limits consistent with their age and development. A behavior management plan must be submitted to your New York State Office of Children and Family Services licensor as part of the application. Your licensor or your local child care resource and referral agency can provide technical assistance in this area. To be certain that you are in compliance, please refer to the child daycare regulations.